587-3463 anytime, any day, day or night. Across North Carolina, emergency services personnel are working to get ready for the storm. So here to talk more about what the National Weather Service is currently predicting for our area and how we're preparing are County Manager Avril Pinder, Ryan Cole, Assistant Director with Buncombe County Emergency Services, Asheville City Manager DK Wesley, City of Asheville Emergency Manager Jeremy Knighton, Clay Chandler, who many folks remember from City of Asheville Water Resources Department, Jeff Brooks with Duke Energy, Robbie Baker, First Sergeant with the North Carolina Highway Patrol, and Chief John Coffey from the Black Mountain Fire Department, and Tiffany Thacker, VP of Partnership and Destination Management with Explore Asheville. We also have Scotty Harris, Weaverville Town Manager, joining us here in person, and he's also available to answer questions. With that, I will turn this over to County Manager Pinder.
Thanks, Lillian. Good afternoon. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch for our area from 7 a.m. Saturday to 1 p.m. on Monday. Weather Service officials are still adjusting their models, but early indications show that this storm is shifting to include more possibility for ice. At this time, we have three primary concerns: hazardous driving conditions, power outages, and dangerously cold weather that will carry well into next week. We are taking this storm seriously. The time to prepare is now. We are still recovering from Helene, and we know we may have survivors in our community still rebuilding who may be staying in temporary homes, campers, and other structures that are more vulnerable during extreme winter conditions. Yesterday, Governor Josh Stein declared a state of emergency, and North Carolina Department of Transportation crews are making arrangements to work around the clock through the weekend to respond for the winter weather. Here in Buncombe County, we're working with our partners, our municipal partners, to also look at a local state of emergency. This is especially relevant for our area as these DOT crews are working where state roads outside municipal limits are maintained by the North Carolina DOT. Buncombe County does not maintain roads. We are coordinating with the American Red Cross now to take the necessary steps to staff and operate up to 3 shelters in geographically dispersed locations in our county, if those shelters are needed. If activated, these shelters would also serve as warming stations. At this time, we aren't prepared to share any adjustments to the county's weekend operations, including our libraries, our parks, and our landfill and transfer station, but we will provide those to you on Friday. And now I'd like to invite our Buncombe County Emergency Services Assistant Director, Ryan Cole, to provide additional details.
Good afternoon. As the forecast is shifting towards more ice, we need everyone to prepare for more potential power outages and not being on the roadways. As many of you have seen through this forecast, as it has continued to change, we are now seeing this ice that can come in, and it could be between 1/4 to an inch of ice that is being forecasted now. With an inch of ice, if we have that in isolated areas, that could be catastrophic to power lines, bringing down trees. And so we need everyone to be prepared for that outage, as well as trees being down in roadways and roadways being impassable. This can also occur all the way back to 1/4 inch of ice. And so we need everyone to make sure that they are prepared for that and understand we could still get snow in with this. We also are seeing with the maps that we have significant impact or minor probability of minor impacts is significant across the entire Southeast. And so we need to understand that this is very probable that we are going to have impacts to our area. The other thing that is very important is thinking about the time that this is coming in. Today, tomorrow is the time to go to the grocery store, get what you need to be prepared to sustain for 72 hours. As we see that this is it's projecting to come in to our area around 9 a.m. in the morning, this could also change and fluctuate. And we need everyone to be prepared for that to occur prior to this coming in on Saturday morning. So make sure that you have gotten your staples and everything ready for that by tomorrow evening. We're coordinating currently with Duke Energy, North Carolina Department of Transportation, our hospitals, school partners, and our public safety partners throughout the county to ensure that we have response that meets everyone's needs. With that, we want to urge everyone only to call 911 during an emergency. There are other numbers that you can contact, and you can find those on our website and to be able to get that. Don't forget, you can also text 911 as well if you do not have the ability to call 911, or if services are impeded, you might be able to use the text. Again, those important numbers that are also available are at buncombeready.org, where that you can get that. And we also want to make sure, and we talked earlier about getting prepared for the 72 hours, make sure you have your disaster kit ready to go. The disaster kit includes 1 gallon of water per person in your household for 3 to 7 days. We always say a minimum of 72 hours. And this storm, as it comes in, we know that we're not going to be warming up above, currently with the forecast, we're not going to get above freezing temperatures until Wednesday. So we need to be prepared to sustain through that time period. You need to have enough non-perishable food for each member of the household, medication to get through those 72 hours to 7 days, pet supplies and food for your pets, flashlights, extra batteries, cell phone charging supplies, AM/FM radio, winter weather clothing, blankets, fire extinguisher, first aid kit. And if you use oxygen, right now is the time to make arrangements for that, especially if you're on an oxygen concentrator, so you have a backup for that if you do lose power. All of this can be found on ready.gov and has all of this information. If you lose power, make sure you identify one warm location, keep everyone in the family in one room of the house for as long as possible, and have battery lanterns. And please don't use candles, as the candles can be forgotten, and we definitely do not want a fire. Preparing for the cold temperatures, be thinking about dripping your faucets to prevent your pipes from freezing up. You can open your cabinet doors around where your pipes are to allow the heat to get into there. Make sure that all your garden hoses are disconnected on the outside, and know how to shut off your water quickly in case you do have a bursted pipe. Make sure all your pets are taken care of. Keep them indoors as much as possible, but don't forget about your livestock and ensuring that they have water that's not frozen and enough food to sustain or warmth for them. Our community paramedics are going to be working to support our unhoused population. Code Purple is in effect, which provides more beds with fewer requirements. Locations include Safe Shelter, ABCCM, Transformation Village, Salvation Army, and Homeward Bound, or AHOPE. Options are available for men, women, couples, people with pets, and children. Finally, we can't stress how important it is to follow reputable sources for your weather forecast like you're doing right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we would like to invite City Manager DK Wesley to share updates from City of Asheville.
Good afternoon, and thank you to our county partners for hosting today's community briefing. Again, my name is DK Wesley, and I serve as the city manager for the city of Asheville. I am joined today by key city leadership from emergency management and water resources. We are here today to provide our community with a clear update on the readiness efforts underway within the city of Asheville as we prepare for the winter storm forecasted to impact our region over the weekend. We also want to share what residents can expect as conditions evolve. Our top priorities are public safety, maintaining essential services, and being ready to respond quickly in the event that conditions deteriorate. To that end, the city has activated its emergency operations plan to ensure coordination across departments. City crews will remain on duty throughout the weekend and will provide updates as conditions change. We understand that winter storms can disrupt daily life and create concerns about power, water service, and access to resources, especially for our most vulnerable residents. While we cannot eliminate impacts, we are committed to clear communication, rapid response, and making decisions that prioritize safety across our community. We appreciate the community's cooperation, patience, for staying informed, and for looking out for one another. The City of Asheville will continue to communicate updates through our official channels and in coordination with Buncombe County. With that, I'll turn it over to Assistant Fire Chief of Emergency Management, Jeremy Knighton, and Clay Chandler, Water Resources Public Information Officer, for our latest operational update.
Good afternoon. As the city manager said, my name is Jeremy Knighton. I'm the Chief of Emergency Management for the city of Asheville. Our readiness and activation of our emergency operations plan began 2 days ago. Currently, crews across Public Works, Water Resources, Fire, and Police are fully engaged in pre-storm preparations. We are taking proactive steps now so we can respond efficiently once we begin to receive impacts from weather in our area. We will continue monitoring operations closely and adjust those operations as needed. As for Public Works and snow operations, Public Works will begin 24 hours, 24/7 staffing on Friday to support winter weather operations. Crews are renting additional equipment, expanding our snow removal capacity, increasing staffing for around-the-clock coverage, and pre-positioning those resources and ready to respond as roads quickly change. Reminder, please assist us in helping you. Please do not park on the road after 5 p.m. This allows on Friday. This allows our plows and treatment vehicles to safely and effectively clear roads. Parked vehicles are one of the biggest barriers to effective snow removal. All city-owned parking garages will remain open, free of charge, beginning on 5 p.m. Friday for those that need a place to park. This allows our snow plows and treatment vehicles to clear snow and improve those road conditions. For the latest information on parking availability, please see our website. Fire and Police public safety preparedness. Asheville Fire and Police departments are increasing staffing ahead of the storm. Our resource engagement support team will be there 24/7 to assist our most vulnerable through the weekend, including our unhoused population. Emergency vehicles are being equipped with extra supplies, chains, and cables to safely navigate these winter road conditions. We have established backup communications plans, and in case our phone systems or infrastructure become disrupted due to the ice and snow in the forecast. We are working with our partners to coordinate and pivot to additional response as needed. Measuring the complexity of this storm, as we know in the mountains, can be very difficult. Our goal is to remain and keep our emergency response highly reliable regardless of weather conditions. We are asking you to partner with us to avoid unnecessary travel, parking off those roadways, and as Ryan said, dripping those faucets, protecting pipes. Check on your neighbors, especially seniors or those with limited mobility. Preparing an emergency kit, again with food and water and medications, is critical, and now is the time to do so. Our community centers, Parks and Rec staff are going to be closed on January 24th and 25th to all programming. This includes those scheduled basketball games so that we can allow folks to stay at home and be safe during this. For their own safety, community members are strongly cautioned to stay out of parks during these extreme weather events. Park observers should observe winter weather outdoor safety tips and make sure that we are prepared to be outdoors in the event that you need to. Some commercial building preparedness. Please make sure you have a sprinkler system. Maintain a temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit in areas with sprinkler systems. This will ensure that the freezing temperatures don't cause exacerbated damage to inside the occupants. Routinely check unoccupied locations and verify that those heat levels are adequate. Be prepared to conduct a fire watch in the event that a system freezes. And just as a note, the fire code prevents buildings sprinkler systems from being turned off or drained in preparation for cold weather. Thank you. Be safe. And again, now is the time to be prepared. And I'll turn it over to Water Resources Public Information Officer Clay Chandler.
Thank you, Jeremy. In keeping with tradition, we'll start with a turbidity update from North Fork. As of late yesterday, turbidity is 1.68 NTU, and that is exactly where it should be for this time of year. Getting into our prep for the winter storm this weekend, at the water treatment plants, our staff are topping off all 37 of our water storage tanks that sit throughout our distribution system. Those tanks will remain full for the duration of the event. Staffing levels have been increased at all 3 treatment plants, especially for the overnight hours when the weather is the coldest and our system is the most vulnerable. All water plants have emergency generators, which are fueled and ready to go to provide backup power in the event of a power outage. All 41 of our pump stations also have emergency generators that are fueled and ready to provide backup power again in the event of a power outage. In our distribution system, we are pre-positioning equipment like dump trucks and track hose and everything else that we need to repair a water line break to make it more accessible if and when roads to our warehouse on Bingham Road become impassable. Our warehouse that's on Bingham Road sits at the top of a pretty large hill, so if roads get icy, getting up there is going to be difficult. We will have a minimum of 2 on-call duty officers instead of the usual 1 to field overnight and after hours water emergencies and direct our maintenance crews. Again, that number could go up, but we will have at least 2 for the duration of this event. Every maintenance crew and meter technician will be essentially on call and prepared to respond for the duration of this storm. Customer service representatives, either those employed by the city or those with our after-hours answering service, will be available as they always are 24/7 by calling 828-251-1122. Again, that number is 828-251-1122. If you have an issue or a problem, that is the fastest way to let us know about it and the fastest way that we can get somebody out there to address it. As Chief Knighton mentioned, our customers can do a lot to help us by preparing your home or your business and its plumbing. By taking common sense steps can reduce your risk of frozen pipes. Number 1, if you have a pipe exposed anywhere in your building, please wrap it with insulation or heat tape, disconnect outdoor water hoses, and cover outdoor water faucets. This is probably the most important one. It's been mentioned a couple of times already. Please drip your pipes. That is the best way to prevent a water pipe from busting. If that water is moving through that pipe even a little bit, the chances that it busts due to cold weather go way, way down. Keep your thermostat set above 55 day and night. If your water meter is frozen, again, customer service 828-251-1122. We have a comprehensive list of preparedness steps posted at the top of Water Resources website, and that is at asheville.nc.gov/department/water. Again, that's asheville.nc.gov/department/water. For now, I'll turn it back over to Lillian.
Thank you, Clay. I want to make sure that I mention that Town of Montreat Manager Savannah Parrish has also joined us in the room and is available for questions if needed. We've got Jeff Brooks from Duke Energy who is joining us via Zoom. So we will turn this over to Jeff.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me with you today. Certainly, we're watching the approaching storm with increased intensity as we do see the trend moving towards more of an ice event for much of the region and the state. The type of precipitation has a direct impact on the types of outages and scope of outages that we see. It takes about 6 inches or more of snow before we begin to see limbs breaking and falling onto power lines, but it only takes about 1/4 of an inch of ice before we see the same impacts. When we get to about 1/2 an inch of ice, we begin to see the lines themselves sagging, and that can cause failures and outages as well. So as that precipitation of ice increases, it will have a direct correlation to the number of outages that we begin to see. Now, certainly we've done a lot of work, especially since Helene, to continue to strengthen the electric grid in the Asheville area and across Western North Carolina. That includes pole and line upgrades. We've done work around some of our substations in the area that were damaged by Helene to get them back into service, so they're providing customers reliable service. And we've done a tremendous amount of vegetation work going around and trimming trees near power lines. Our crews, we have extensive crews out across the state this week doing some hotspot trimming, looking for those areas where they can make some additional benefits. And we will work all the way up till the storm to deliver as many benefits as we can for customers ahead of the storm's arrival. We are going to use all of our crews available to help as well. We have hundreds of line and tree workers in Western North Carolina that are there to help. They live and work in these areas, so they are very familiar with the surrounding areas. They are very accustomed to working in the terrain and difficult conditions that we can sometimes experience during winter weather in and around Buncombe County and surrounding counties. And they will be on the job doing that work. But we also know how important it is to have the right resources there to be able to tackle the challenges we see in these areas. So we have brought in, or we are bringing in, additional resources from out of state that will be arriving on Friday afternoon and evening. Those resources will add to the additional crews, or the crews that we have there in the area, to provide additional resources for tackling those outages and getting power restored as quickly and safely as possible. As was mentioned earlier, we could see potentially challenging road conditions and other types of access conditions that will affect our ability to get to outages immediately after the storm. We will do our best to get to every spot, but there may be some delays if those conditions do not make it safe to be able to traverse or even be able to access certain areas. We are setting up a staging area in the Asheville area for our out-of-state crews that are coming in. Those details are being finalized today, and we will share those with local media once we have that information finalized, and we'll provide some availability if you want to come to those locations. We are also going to put a communications representative on the ground there throughout the storm, and they'll be available to be a resource to you to provide information to the citizens and viewers of the area. We appreciate our partnerships greatly with local emergency management officials, fire, police, and other response agencies. We cannot do our job without these teams. And it is truly a partnership as we work to fight against the effects of Mother Nature together. A few tips for customers. First of all, if you experience an outage, we want you to report it. The easiest way to do that is to text the word out, O-U-T, to 57801, or you can use the Duke Energy app, and we encourage you to go ahead and download that while you can, and that can report your outage, or you can go to the Duke Energy website at duke-energy.com, or you can call our telephone reporting line, which is 1-800-POWER-ON, to report your outage. That's important because that allows us to be able to stay in contact with you and provide you updates on restoration progress and information that could be helpful throughout the storm. A couple tips for everybody out there right now. As was mentioned earlier, the time is fast approaching when it will not be safe to be out and doing grocery shopping and other errands. So now is the time to take action. If you rely on electricity for medical needs, it's very important that you have a plan in place for what you would do if you lost power for an extended period. Winter storms can result in short duration outages, or they can result in outages that can last even several days. So having a plan in place to maintain your needs is very essential and important. So think about that now. Also, if you have a generator, make sure that you've tested it. Make sure that it is safe to operate. Always follow manufacturer instructions. Do not attempt to connect it to the meter box or any other place that it's not designed to be connected. And never use those generators inside or always in a well-ventilated area is where you want to do. If you do see a down power line, always assume that the power line is live and has electricity on it. Do not drive over it, and keep your family and your pets away from it to keep everyone safe. You can report that to Duke Energy using the outage reporting tool, and we will come and as quickly as we can and address the situation. Recognize also that that line may become entangled in debris and you may not see it very easily. So use caution if you know you have a power line in your yard and it, it looks like there's damage. Stay away from it and keep yourself safe. So if you do see our crews or other emergency officials working along the roads, the safest thing to do is to stay home. Let the emergency crews do their job. But if you do have to go out and you see our crews working, please move over and slow down. Give them the space to work safely. They will be working very long hours in challenging conditions, and we want to get them home safely to their families as well. We will continue to provide updates to customers directly through direct-to-customer information. So we do encourage you to take time to check your Duke Energy account and make sure we have the correct information that you wish to receive these updates. We'll also provide updates through our local media partners and through local officials in the county. We just encourage everyone to stay safe, and we appreciate the opportunity to serve you. We know, and we shared the impacts of Helene with you back in the fall of 2024. And we have worked very hard to build a grid that is strong and ready to respond during the storm. Our crews are very committed to helping get your power restored as safely and quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And Jeff, if you'll stick around with us so that we can answer any questions at the end. Next, we will hear from Robbie Baker, First Sergeant with the North Carolina Highway Patrol.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Robbie Baker with the North Carolina State Highway Patrol. I just want to reiterate a little bit of what our partners have said already during the briefing. Starting ahead of this storm, we'd encourage folks to limit their travel and stay home if possible. This helps us with call volume, but it also helps us to ensure that we can get our public services, our utilities, our emergency services to the places that they need to be, that we don't have blocked roads that are delaying the utility companies and the other emergency responders getting to where they're supposed to be. The bridges and overpasses in the shaded areas, they're going to freeze first. They're going to remain slick, even though when the roads do appear to be cleared and free of ice and snow. You're going to see stranded vehicles on the sides of the roadway. If you do see a stranded vehicle and it has an orange sticker or a piece of yellow caution tape, that means it has been checked by emergency responders. We do appreciate your concern, but please don't call those in. Those have been checked, and we don't want to tie up our emergency lines for things that we've already been to. For road condition updates, we'd like to try to leave the 911 system and the Star HP Highway Patrol systems open for emergency situations. We can find road conditions live on visitdrivenc.gov. Again, that is we're going to visit drivenc.gov. That website has road updates on there, and if closures were to come, they will be placed on there. We're working day in and day out with our DOT partners to ensure that we try to get the roads open as quickly as possible. So please just bear with these folks, and we're going to do everything that we can to get everything open. Thank you.
Thank you. I think to summarize that, don't be the reason we need a new rule. Moving on, we've got Black Mountain Fire Chief John Coffey here to share some safety guidelines based on his firsthand experience responding to emergencies in our community.
Good afternoon. I'm John Coffey, Fire Chief with Black Mountain Fire Department. I'd like to address an important safety message for all residents in Buncombe County. As the storm approaches with freezing temperatures and a potential for power outages, the fire service sees an increase in the use of portable heaters and generators. While these devices provide comfort and essential power, they also present serious fire and life safety risks if not used properly. Each year, fire, carbon monoxide poisoning, and preventable injuries occur because of the improper use. Portable heaters should always be kept at least 3 feet away in any direction from anything that can burn. That includes things like furniture, curtains, bedding, and clothing. They should also be plugged directly into a wall outlet and never into an extension cord or a power strip. Always turn off devices that produce carbon monoxide when you leave a room or during when you're going to sleep. If you have children or pets, choose heaters with tip over protection and never place them in areas where they could be potentially knocked over. Generators produce carbon monoxide, an odorless and deadly gas. They should be operated outdoors, at least 20 feet away from any building, with the exhaust directed downwind and away from the structure. We also strongly encourage residents to install carbon monoxide alarms on every level of their home. We want to be clear. The safety measures are not suggestions. They're life-saving practices. A moment of convenience or a shortcut can result in devastating consequences for families and first responders alike. Our goal is simple. We want everyone to stay warm, stay powered, and stay safe. So if you have any questions about safe use, or if you're unsure whether your equipment is operating properly, contact your local fire department, and we're here to help before an emergency occurs. But thank you for helping us share this message, and together we can prevent fires, injuries, and tragedies in Buncombe County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Our final update, we're happy to have Tiffany Thacker here, the Vice President of Partnership and Destination Management with Explore Asheville, to share some important resources for our local residents.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us to participate in today's briefing. Explore Asheville and our local lodging community are working alongside Buncombe County to support our residents during this winter weather emergency. In preparation of this storm, our team has reached out to our local lodging partners to identify which properties have vacancies and can accommodate residents in case of an emergency. So far, we've had 29 hotels respond to our call, with responses still coming in. All of these hotels are listed on our website at www.exploreasheville.com. In downtown, we have the Aloft, Cambria, Doubletree, Element, Embassy Suites, Holiday Inn Express, the Moxie, and the Foundry. In Biltmore Village, we have the AC Hotel, Clarion Inn, Courtyard by Marriott, Doubletree, the Grand Bohemian Lodge, Hampton Inn and Suites, and the Residence Inn. On Tunnel Road, we have Country Inn and Suites, Fairfield by Marriott Inn, Hampton Inn, and the Homewood Suites. In West Asheville, we have Bent Creek Lodge, Comfort Suites, Hampton Inn and Suites, Holiday Inn Express, Holiday Inn, and the Wood Spring Suites. In South Asheville, we have the Courtyard by Marriott, Hilton Garden Inn, and Home 2 Suites. And then in North Buncombe County and North Asheville, we have the Log Cabin Motor Court. Again, this is the full list of hotels and contact information that full list of hotels and contact information can be found on our website at exploreasheville.com. This list will continue to be updated throughout the weekend. Many of these hotels ask that you call them directly, and you'll find those phone numbers on our website. We'll continue to update this page as new information comes in. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. With that, we will turn things over to questions from the media. I know that we had 2 questions come in from the chat already. One asking, is there a priority or a map that's available to show which roads are going to be salted first? drivenc.gov is going to be your best resource for current road conditions. Salting, care of roads takes place on those most traveled and then goes out from there. So refer to drivenc.gov for those real-time road conditions to help. I see your wife is a healthcare worker, and it's super important that she can get to work. Those road conditions at drivenc.gov are going to be your resource. Second question has escaped me. What is the best local radio station for updates? Well, I think I saw BPR is on this call, so they will say that they are the best local radio station to get updates. But we also know that our iHeart radio stations have provided wonderful updates, and WNCW also is providing active updates on what's happening with the storm. So we will continue to work closely with our radio partners, just like we did during Tropical Storm Helene, to make sure that you have updates that are coming to you in real time. Have that hand cranked or battery operated radio standing by so that if you lose power, you can get that information from us, from our partners who you've seen here today, and have that breaking news come directly to you. All right, questions from the media. I know we've got some in the room.
Yeah, my first question was, hey Jeff, it's Elijah. I spoke yesterday, and I know talked about storm being such a wide area that it would be difficult to pull some crews from your guys in from some of the surrounding states. I know you said potentially Florida yesterday. These crews coming Friday from out of state. Where are they coming from exactly, if you have that information?
So we're finalizing, the question was, if you couldn't hear, was that where are the crews coming from out of state? And we are still finalizing some of those rosters and where they're coming from. But I can say that we are pulling resources from our Midwest utilities and from Florida. And it's reasonable to assume that possibly the Midwest crews could be coming to that area, but you know, that will continue to be fluid throughout the day to day. I know that we are sending some significant resources to the Asheville area, and I'll have actual numbers probably towards the end of the day or early tomorrow. But we'll also provide some availability information if you want to come out to the staging site and be able to get some images or whatever. That's important. Obviously, that's for the media. We really discourage the public from coming out to those areas because the crews will be working very hard to set up housing and food and all the things that it takes to run an operation like this during a severe storm.
Mr. Baker, I have a quick question. Are there any specific roads or corridors that you guys are particularly worried about for this upcoming storm? If it's I-40, I-26, and kind of what's your message for where people should or shouldn't be driving?
The question is, are there any particular roads or corridors that that the Highway Patrol is especially concerned about, and the state?
Well, to answer that, we're concerned about all the roadways, but obviously we want to keep the interstates and the main thoroughfares open. The interstates are the biggest concern, probably number one priority. The secondary roads will be secondary. But we want the interstates to remain open to where we can get the mass transportation and utility crews and the emergency services through. But we also want to be able to access these secondary roads for the utility crews and emergency services. But the DOT they're prepped and ready. We've been in constant communication with them, so we've got a good plan.
Follow-up question. Yeah, we can tell people not to drive all day, but inevitably people will drive. What type of stuff should they have in their car in case of emergency if their car breaks down, just to be prepared?
We'd encourage people to have a full tank of gas, a battery, a flashlight, blankets, and I believe they cover the water, some food and snacks in there and stuff to survive in there till somebody can get to them to get them to a safe place.
Amber, too. We talked a lot about that 2023 Christmas event and kind of some of the lessons learned were brought in following that. For the community that's concerned of another situation like that, what type of lessons or things did you guys learn from that event that's now being applied towards this potential event?
So the biggest thing that came out of that event, at least on the planning and the response side, was our emergency operations training, which Chief Knighton spearheads for the city. For anybody unfamiliar with what an emergency operations plan is, it is essentially a roadmap that gives very specific assignments to very specific people on what they have to do in the event of any kind of emergency, weather, whatever. We understand there's some PTSD left over from that event a little more than 3 years ago. This is another cold weather event, obviously, that we're getting ready to head into. There's a couple of things different about this one. I don't believe it's going to be quite as cold for quite as long next week, or starting Saturday into next week as it was 3.5 years ago. What I can tell you is that our response will be very different and much more organized than it was for the Christmas event. I have 3 meetings this afternoon with our maintenance people, our operations people, and everybody associated with the treatment plants. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, all 182 water resources employees are on call for the duration of this event. Nobody's going to have a day off. It's going to be work, eat, sleep until this thing is over. So we understand there's some concern, but you can rest assured we're as prepared as we can be.
Elijah, hold on. We've got other reporters here. Okay, Sarah Hanoski, I see you've got a question in the back.
Yeah, let's see when and how we'll know additional shelters activated, what capacity might be at those shelters, and are you all not sharing locations yet?
We're not ready to share the locations just yet. We've got to work on our staffing plan and make sure that those shelters are prepared to welcome people. We will be ready to make that announcement tomorrow. So we are doing all of the behind the scenes work right now to make sure that those shelters have everything that they need to support people during this time. And tomorrow we will be prepared to let you know about that.
Rexdale is also going to activate overnight and as morning centers during the day.
Yes, they will be both. Do we have questions from our media partners who have joined online? One more from Facebook.
Do we stay in our home if power lines fall?
Do we stay in our home if power lines fall on it? That is a great question for Jeff and maybe Chief Coffee too.
Yeah, from a safety standpoint, as we mentioned earlier, if the power line falls in your yard, certainly stay in your home or away from those lines so that you can stay safe. If the power line falls on your home, that isn't, it's not a likely scenario, but if it does, the main thing is if I would contact, that would be maybe a 911 call or reaching out to us for that. If there's obviously a fire or something like that, then you want to consider that. But we get asked the question a lot for automobiles as well, and if we have cars that sometimes hit a pole in icy weather and that line can come down. One of the things we point out in those cases is you're safer in your car typically than trying to get out. And what you want to avoid is grounding yourself and being in the same vehicle. So in other words, if you step out of your car and your foot touches the ground while you're still also touching the car, that's where the problem occurs. So if you're ever in your vehicle and it happens, you'll want to jump free of the vehicle if there's a fire. Otherwise, stay inside and wait for emergency officials to arrive. That tends to be the safest course, is to let the emergency officials clear it. We'll come turn the power off or whatever we need to do.
And just to reiterate what he said is that's absolutely correct. If there's a power line that falls in your yard or on your house, just dial 911. And we'll handle the situation case by case depending on the severity of the power line issue. But steer clear from it. Don't go near it, and just stay put until emergency officials can arrive, and we can deal with it at that moment.
Our 911 folks also want to remind the community that you can text 911 if you have a limited service and aren't able to make that phone call. You can text 911 to get help. Any other questions from folks who are joining on Zoom? Elijah, what you got?
One more, this is, you were calling today, so I don't have the entire context. They said the code red alert system was down due to a cyber attack. Is that still the case? What would be the best course of action you would give to people if that is still the case?
I'm really glad you asked that question. Yes, that platform, that vendor, a third-party vendor, did suffer a cyber attack, rendering it unusable for us to send out those emergency messages that we would do in a regular text message. We've used that system for everything from tax notices are going in the mail to voting reminders to critical safety preparations. The thing that's important to know about that is that the city of Asheville has a platform that they use. So we will utilize their system to text their customers who are in city of Asheville signed up for those alerts. So sign up with city of Asheville for their alerts. The other thing that's really important to know is that if there's an emergency, a true emergency, and we've got to get life-saving information to you, we still have access to that reverse 911 system that you don't need to sign up for. It's not a text message. It is similar to when there's a Amber Alert and your phone goes off. We still have access to that through the city, through the state, and through FEMA. And so we will continue to be able to contact people using their phones. If you have a landline, we will still be able to contact you using that system. So we will have a new vendor. We've signed a contract with a new vendor, but we haven't been able to start that process of distributing messages through them just yet. So more to come on that, but I really like how your viewer is tuned in on that. Did I see from the team, do we have a question from Zoom? Shaking their head online. Any other questions from members of the media here in person? Okay, all right. So as County Manager Pinder shared, the storm should be taken seriously. The time to prepare is right now. We have today and tomorrow to get ourselves ready. I'll remind you that our libraries are open today and tomorrow and have a bunch of really great books that you can check out that don't require any power. On our website at buncombeready.org, we've compiled a list of really important numbers that you need to know during inclement weather. So I would encourage you to go there right now, screenshot it, print it, save it, write it down, tattoo it, whatever it takes. Make sure that you have those accessible when you can't access the internet, because they'll help you get in touch with the power company, the gas company, roads. All of those are available at buncombeready.org. We'll continue to gain confidence about the projected impacts in the next 24 hours. As such, we will hold another community briefing on Friday at 10 a.m. So tomorrow at 10 a.m., we'll provide the next update to you on where we are with the storm and additional information about operations and impacts and support services for our community. For those media partners who want to provide updates in Spanish, please stay on the Zoom call. That update will take place directly after this. We'll have a little bit of a change, but please stay on the Zoom call if you want to receive the Spanish update. With that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Prepare now. Stay safe.